Good morning. I struggle with the concept of constant Christianity, meaning that it stresses me out to feel like I have to think about God all the time, and that if I don't, I'm not good enough. It doesn't matter how hard I try or how bad I want it, being a Christian isn't at the top of my mind 100% of the time. 1 Corinthians reminds us to keep alert, which is easier said than done. The concept of having faith 24/7 is almost inconvenient. I'm a high school senior, and I'm really busy just like everyone else. How is it possible for me to think about God when I'm doing 18 different things for homework, or I'm taking a nap, or I'm sitting on the toilet? God doesn't expect us to put our lives on hold, and He forgives us when we're too forgetful. What we can do, however, is to find ways to remind ourselves to be better. I put sticky notes in my laptop and on my phone case and on my mirror. I have a God is Bigger bracelet on my keychain, and I follow a daily Bible quote page on Instagram. These reminders help me to focus on what my faith means to me. The last time I spoke in church was about the youth search committee. Dr. Carl asked me to speak at the 8:45 service 5 minutes before, and I didn't have any notes, and I was freaking out. I was really nervous about saying the right thing because I wanted to sound mature and responsible and respectful because I was talking about something really important to me. Halfway through, I messed up, and I was fumbling around and stuttering, but I looked down and I saw my bracelet that said God is bigger, and it reminded me that God is bigger than my embarrassment, and I was able to finish my announcement. Like my bracelet, I find small reminders of God's presence all around me, even if I'm not constantly thinking about it. It could be a sunset when I'm driving with the windows down listening to my favorite songs. It could be a good chai tea latte, or the perfect lighting during a photo shoot, or singing Plastic Jesus on the Yarborough family beach trip. In Corinthians, when it says to keep alert, I think it means to be looking out for God in the world in big and small ways. At Montreat, we have a tradition called God Sightings, where at the end of each day, everyone answers the question, where did you see God today? People's answers vary. It could be a new friend that they made, or the fact that we finished the puzzle that we've been working on all week. Or it could be how one line in the keynote shifted your whole faith foundation. God is always there. Even if you're having a bad day, you feel like you're too busy for God. Good friends are like stars. You don't always see them, but you know they're always there. God is like a star. You have to go outside, be alert, and look for Him. 1 Corinthians also tells us to stand firm in our faith. When most people hear stand firm, they might think of a commander at the front of an army getting ready to charge into battle. But I think more of a tree, and how a tree is deeply rooted and there to stay. So when I think of firm faith, I remember that faith is not about how busy you are or how good of a day you had. It's a constantly growing absolute foundation of you. Highs or lows, you are deeply rooted in faith. Sometimes, though, it's really hard to stand firm in faith, to look at the bright side of things and be grateful for what God has given you. Sometimes your dad is in a motorcycle accident that breaks 7 ribs and bruises his lung, and it's really hard to be grateful. But then I go on my ambulance shift for my EMT class, and the paramedic tells me about the motorcycle accident they had last week, and how the guy broke all the vertebrae in his neck, and they took 10 people to get him out of the ditch, and they had to take him off life support 3 days later. Faith comes to me in the fact that my dad gets to see my graduation, that he gets to come to my wedding and meet my grandchildren, and that he gets to hear my senior sermon. I've become grateful that every time I leave my house, I still hear, good luck, and remember we're all counting on you. It may not always feel like God is there for you. It may not always feel like you have faith. But if you're alert and you stand firm, God will show Himself to you in both big and small ways.